Good afternoon, students. So, so let us start with the lesson. We have the second topic. Let us do with the second topic today. I think basic concepts we finished. Briefly, I just discussed about the basic concepts in the last class. Then again, today we will be starting the third topic, which is state and society. Okay. So even because we have another 2 or 3 classes, I think so. Day after tomorrow, day after, and the other last Sunday is the last class for us. So I should finish off the syllabus in the given stipulated time. So let me just briefly discuss about the remaining topics, whatever we have like. Okay. So state and society, where we will be discussing on the state, the importance of the state, the rule in the state, or like what exactly usually the public or the population, the people usually is being given with the state here. Okay. And not only this, and again, we try to discuss about the state and the power. Like what type of power is being impacted, or what type of power it is being used in the state, and who are the people who is going to use the power in the state, and on whom. Fine. Then we have the class structure and also the hegemony. And the other next concepts we have is the civil society, welfare state, nation state. Then again, state, society under capitalism and socialistic system, or the socialism. Okay. Now, we have, like, when to start with the state, what do we understand by state, first of all? The concept called the state. So usually everyone knows, we very frequently, every time we try to refer the state concept from the political aspect or from sociological aspect. When you just define a state, it is something where you are talking about a particular geographic situation or a territorial situation. A territorial situation which is considered as an organized political system or organized political community under one under which we come across one particular government having a control over the population of that particular community. I repeat once again, when you define politically or sociologically the state, the concept of state, it is something where you can just observe our own states. So we have a boundaries or the territorial aspect, and where the people who are living within the territorial aspect, within the territorial boundaries here, there will be one particular government, the government which shows or have control over the population. And at the same time, there will be a formation of the government in order to control the population. That is to show the power on the population. Okay. So which is a organized political community. So state means a territorial organized political community. So it is perfectly organized. It has a perfect structure, and there will be some kind of norms, conditions, and the functionalities. So the functionalities are performed by the government, which usually forms under the state. And this government has the power to rule over the state, the population of the state, the people of the state, and they have the power to control the people who within the boundaries who are living in that particular political community. Okay. Now, when you talk about state and the power, okay, it says that something which refers to a power where it has the capacity of a state. The state has the capacity to regulate the behaviors and enforce the order within its own territory. So who is going to enforce the order here? See, exactly when without the state, we cannot experience, we cannot expect an ordered system in the societies. Okay, so we require a peaceful existence of the people, a peaceful running, a normative order, a social order, so that everyone will be actively participating in their own endeavors, and it just goes very fair and very peaceful condition. So this has to be the day of the order. So how this order is brought? Who is going to bring this kind of social order? So this social order will be done. This will be brought into existence by the state, which has the power to control. It has the power, it is the state which possesses the power. And with this power, say for example, even we can just refer to the police power. Okay, with this power, they try to, with that particular capacity, they are going to regulate the behaviors and enforce order within its territory, within its own territorial limitations. Okay. Why? Because this power cannot be shown on the external forces. So you are forming a government, you have the power, you are given the power by the people. If it is a democratic system, you are given the power by the people to you. So the state government have that particular control of the public or the population, the people of that particular territory. And in order to why this power, actually, why they're showing the power, why they're implementing the power, in order to bring the behavioral orders and the same time to control the behaviors of the people in order to bring social order of that particular state. Okay. So social order is maintained by the state because it possesses the power. So the regulating behaviors, regulation of the behaviors of the people. So you cannot behave as you like. So this behaviors is regulated by the state power. Okay. Through the state power. And at the same time, the power also has two different dimensions. The concept of power has two different dimensions. So when you talk about the extroversion of the power, we try to discuss in a form where you are maintaining the relations. International relations are maintained by your state with the other state. Okay. So the international relations, you're talking with the concept of the power. Also, the state power within its own territorial boundaries. Okay. So where you try to talk about the political power within a society, and with this power you have the state is going to show some kind of societal influences. Okay, the societal influences is also because they possess the power within their own territory. So you have two concepts here, the two phases of the power, where you are going to show it international level, where you are maintaining the nation-state relationship, international relationship. Okay. Otherwise, your social influence, your power can be influenced only among your own people within your own territory. Okay. Then, so where we try to again, when you talk about the state, we also has to refer with the geographical situation, the size of the population, and the state which has important factors determining their own relative power. How much power you possess and how far you are able to control the behaviors. So you are relating it, you are talking about the relative power. Relative power over whom? This relative power will be over your own geographical setting. So that means, say, for example, our Telangana CM is there. Telangana CM is bound to influence his impact, bound to influence his power, show his power, his authority lies only for this particular region called Telangana, only this particular state. So he cannot shower his influence, he cannot show his social influence on any other state. Why? Because your limitations are up to certain level. Okay. So you have restricted your power is restricted only for this particular geographical boundaries. So the geography and your size of population has a great impact on the power influences and all. Okay. Then at the same time, we come across, there is another concept we try to use in state power and also the class structures and the hegemony. So when you talk about the hegemony here, class structures, as we know, like the structural impact, which shows the class structures, which shows an impact in the power allocation also, or the power distribution, and at the same time, the power holding also. Okay. So when you discuss about the different approaches we have, like when you talk about the Karl Marx approach here, so the power is held only by the higher class structure, the elite structures. Okay. So only elites are going to hold the power, and they are on the political regimes, and they are the people who are in the authorities, and they are the people who usually rule the whole society, who usually maintain the order in the society. Okay. So why? Because it is only because of the richness, maybe the owners of the production, maybe that kind of aspect usually make them to take up the power in the society. Okay. And again, we come across what is called hegemony. What do we understand by hegemony? So hegemony is something, a leadership quality or a leadership or a dominance by one state or social group of people, or it shows over the other group or other state or the people. Okay, I repeat once again. Hegemony is a concept we discuss about, like a dominance over a preponderance, control of a group, a preponderance domination over a particular group, right? A particular group. And this talks about something, a leadership quality or a leadership or a domination over a state. And it is something where you're talking about either one state or a social group or over other persons or other group of members. Okay. So what happens here? A person who is an hegemony. A hegemon person is a person who is dominating over a group of people. So his dictations or his conditions or his own statements, his belief systems can be preponderance on that particular group of people, and the group of people are the subservient of this hegemony, okay, of this person. Why? Because the person is dominating. Maybe his ideology is dominating, and he will be showing his ideology on the group of men, on the group of people, or on a particular state here. So the ideology will be ruling over the state. The authority will be ruling over the state. So this usually we term it as hegemony. So like how hegemony actually carried on? Why should we support the hegemony? What type of hegemony we usually experience in the state and the societies here? Usually we try to discuss about which is the hegemony which is supported by the legitimate norms and the ideas. The legitimating norms and the ideas. Usually the legitimized norms, ideas which are supported by a group of men with a mutual consensus. See, they feel that yes, these are the rules, conditions which should be there in the state or a society here. So that particular type of legitimized norms, conditions, or the ideas are going to support the hegemony. Fine. I repeat once again, hegemony can be supported by when there are a mutual consensus over the norms and the ideas. When you find a mutual acceptance given to the norms and the ideas, whereby these norms, ideas bring the legitimized hegemony. Okay. Then again, we come across who is going to support with this kind of hegemony here? Either a group of persons or a class or a state. It may be a particular class in this. Now, just now I said the class structures are there. So one particular class structure is going to support with their ideologies, and that particular ideology will be preponderance. It is going to dominate over a state. I repeat once again, in hegemony, we can take the examples of a particular group, maybe a group which has a certain ideologies, and this ideology is shown or it is going to dominate over the whole state or on that particular group itself. Or for example, if you take a class group ideology is going to be dominating over the whole state or a particular class structure itself or a particular group itself. So if you're maintaining an ideology, a unique ideology, which belongs to a particular, associated to a particular class structure, so that class structure ideology can be dominating the state affairs also. Okay. Then again, we come across hegemony, which is usually from where can we derive this word actually, right? Which is derived from the Greek term called hegemonic, dominance over. So you are dominating over a state, you are dominating over a nation, or you are dominating over international level, or one particular group, or a class, or a caste, whatever the group may be. Okay. So which is used to describe relations between the city and the state. Domination, which is going to make you a relative aspect here. In a relative aspect, we are discussing about the hegemony in relation to a city and a nation, or a city and a state. Okay. Then we come across the other aspect called the civil society. What is civil society here? What is civil society here? Civil society, it is a usually we usually in common way we understand that civil society is something, a big society here, right? We usually feel that civil society is something which has some kind of power so that they can dictate, or sometimes the group or the group of men or group of people who usually preponderantly try to talk about, discuss, or bring some mutual consensus for the welfare of the society or the welfare of the state maybe. But of course, definitely, which is very, very much real, very much in near to this kind of understanding. But very specifically, what is civil society? Specifically, when we go with the definition or the meaning of civil society, it is something, a wide range of organizations we have. Yes, of course, in our society, we have different many communities, different many organizations, but which is usually associated with, as we can call as a civil society. The organization, some kind of organization which are functioning for the whole large big society, Or sometimes we come across some different community groups we have. The different community groups also will be working for the welfare of the people of their own particular community maybe. Or sometimes we have the non-governmental organizations, where usually these non-governmental organizations where these non-governmental organizations take up some kind of voluntary actions in the society. They go amongst the people, they try to give some activities among the people, they try to bring some welfare developmental programs to the people here. Fine, maybe the marginalized sections or some group of people, they try to take the target of that particular group and bring some kind of welfare activities. So they give voluntarily the services contributions to the societal development. So even that can be a civil society. Then again, we come across what is called the labor unions we have. We can take the example of the labor unions in the industry or some kind of firm or then organizations where the labor unions also function as a civil society. They can take up many developmental activities. They try to give some kind of negotiation aspect of the mass section who is undeveloped, and bring some kind of cordiality between the people who are on the top level and the mass section in the society. And they try to give the benefits to the civil society, the mass section of the people who are undeveloped here. So labor union also can be considered as a civil society. Then again, we can take the example of what is called the charitable organizations. We have many charitable organizations we usually try to identify in the society, where they just give the charities to the people, the mass section. They bring some kind of sectoral developments here, their own regional development, some kind of benefit actions they are undertaking in the society. So it's not just state which is going to take up some kind of welfare activities for the public or for the mass, the development of the people, but we also try to identify there is some kind of connectivity to the state and the civil society. So they voluntarily join the providing some kind of protections and benefits to the mass section of the society here. Then again, we try to talk about what is called the lowest level, we have the families, and at the lowest level, we also have the private sectors in the society, which can be given the trading of what is called the civil society. Then again, we try to discuss about a concept called welfare state. Yes, welfare state, the term itself gives you the meaning called welfare state. What is welfare state? Which thinks about the welfare of the society, the mass public of the mass people in the society, which brings some developmental activities in the society, which usually goes with giving some kind of economic and social security to the sections in the society. So economic protection is the major important aspect in the welfare state. Okay. Now here, welfare society. So what is exactly welfare state? Technically, what can we understand by welfare state here? Welfare state is something where it is a form of government in which the state protects and also promotes the basic economic protection here. So the basic priority, the fundamental importance given to in the society by the welfare state, there is a welfare state. If there is a welfare state, so we can identify the welfare state in such a way that this particular government, which is there in the welfare state, which is formed for the welfare state, is going to take up, or it is going to give an assurance that there is definitely will be given the economic protection. That is a basic requirement which is there for the public, the basic requirement, the basic amenities, the basic requirement, maybe the food security, the shelter security. Fine. All these basic amenities or the basic economic protection will be secured by the government, which is there for the welfare state. Okay, this is the major important aspect in the welfare state. Then again, we come across social well-being. Yes, everyone should have a healthy nature. Everyone should be given with a health protection. Fine. Or you bring some kind of policy protections to the people so that you are talking about a welfare state and you are also giving social protection to the mass being here. Yes, of course, for example, if you take our own Indian government here, don't we have the policies for the marginalized sections? Yes, of course. We are given with the marginalized sections. You are given protection of the health sector also, health aspect also. Social security has been provided to the mass section in the society. So there are some kind of policies. There are some kind of what is called accidental insurances protection for the mass people by the government itself. So they need not pay, but a basic requirement are fulfilled by the public. And of course, definitely the bigger side, it is the government which is taking care of providing all the protections to the mass section. So why all these are undertaken in a state? Why? Because It is not only the rich people who are going to live in the society, but also we have to take care of the whole mass section, which is the marginalized, or maybe who are below poverty, or who don't have the employment security. So all people have to sustain in the society. For their own sustenance, all such kind of welfare activities are undertaken by the welfare government or the welfare state. So which usually the government, which is formed in order to take care of all the mass section in the society by providing the basic commodities, economic protection, social protection here. Then again, we come across welfare state also talks about which is the major principles under the welfare state, which goes in such a way that equal opportunities and equitable distribution. Equal opportunities. What are the opportunities we have? Yes, opportunity to educate ourselves. Okay, this is one opportunity. Yes, the government should give the protection by saying that yes, you are given an equal opportunity. You're thrown with the opportunities here. Okay, so that means you have an access to education also, access to good health, access to basic communities, access to a shelter, access to a healthy life, access to what is called the education, access to food protection, food security. All these basic communities or whatever we require for a healthy life, this is to be protected by the welfare state or the government. Okay, so equitable opportunity, equal opportunities. When you're not given the access to education, that means there is no equal opportunity. When you're not given the access to health, to protecting your health, or at least affordable to health charges and all, then that means you're not given the equitable opportunities. So this is all being promised. Based on these principles, the welfare state will be functioning. The government will be functioning. The next one is equitable distribution. What do we understand by equitable distribution? Whatever sources we have, the economic sources we have, whatever sources we have in the society will be equitably distributed among all the people equally. But does this happen regularly? Does this happen? May not be in a proper way, but sometimes we feel that yes, of course, few communities are neglected out of this kind of equitable distribution, but few communities are always with the equitable distribution. So usually the government take care that at least a minimum supportive systems are provided for the mass public. So minimum supportive systems may in the form of, say, for example, if you take employment opportunity given to the people, or if not employment, if each and every member cannot get employment in the nation. So at least see that there's some kind of schemes are provided, some kind of subsidies are given. So they are given, provided the loan facilities, they are given financial securities in order to take up some kind of voluntary actions. The voluntary technical programs are taken up, trainings are given to the mass people so that they need not depend upon the government for the employment protection, but at least they can develop their own source of income. So all this, which is a group of amenities, a group of protections, a group of policies, a group of financial securities, all this which comes under and to be assured by a welfare state. So if there is a welfare state, the government should take care that as all these are given to, or equal opportunities and equitable distribution is taken in a proper way. Then we come across what is called the nation states. Nation states, anagane, usually we try to discuss about what is called a territorially bounded sovereign polity, a territorially bounded sovereign polity, supremacy, the supreme power over that particular territory, the territory, supremacy, sovereignty and supremacy over that particular population, that your given population, your state. So you have a supreme power over that particular nation, supreme power over your own population, supreme power over the state. So this usually goes with the nation-state relations here. Here we try to discuss what is called, which is ruled in the name of a community of citizens who identify themselves as a nation, which gives a legitimacy of a nation state. So who is giving this power here? It is a legitimate power. You are given, you are placed in the authority. you are placed in the power. So you have the legitimate, there is a mutual acceptance that yes, you people are going to lead the society. You people are going to take up the power. You are going to bring that. You are given the supreme authority. You are placed in to use the supreme authority over that group of men or group of people in the society. Okay, so when you're talking about the nation state, it is the supreme authority over the whole state or over the whole nation here. Then here we try to discuss about what is called, which population we are discussing actually. When you say supremacy over the group of men, group of people who are there in that particular boundary, you're there, who are there in that particular territory. So that the territorial situation where you're placed, you're taken into the power, you're given that power, and only the people who are inhabiting that area, you have the hold over that people. Your supremacy is only on that people, not over the other people. Right? You cannot cross your limitations. You cannot cross your territories. So your territory itself is bounding you. It is restricting your supremacy. So that means your supremacy is only for that particular group of people, or a state or a nation. Then again, we try to talk about what is called, we try to discuss the state which has two principles here. Every state has two principles. What are the principles here? The sovereignty and the right of the national communities to govern. What happens when there is supremacy or the sovereignty? Why the state should possess the supremacy or the sovereignty? Why? Because when you need to show the power, when you need to supremely lead the group, when you need to dominatingly lead the group, when you need to dominatingly or at least authoritatively dictate the terms and conditions, frame the policies and all, you require the sovereignty. So if there is, in the absence of sovereignty, we cannot experience a proper functioning of the state. So this may not happen with the in the absence of the what is called the sovereignty. The other one is like and that too only within the limitations, within your territorial boundaries, and within only for your own public or your inhabiting people. Okay. Then we come across the national communities to the right over the national communities to govern their own people. So when there is supremacy, when there is sovereignty, government or the governing the people will be very easy. If there is no supremacy, if there is no sovereignty, governing the nation or your community may not be properly taking place. So for governing the people, to lead the people, to control the behaviors of the people, definitely we require the sovereignty. So nation states are taken in these two principles. One is sovereignty and one is the community, which is usually taking up the governing of the system. Okay. So for the legitimate rule, as I said, who is giving you the legitimacy? Who is giving you the power? Who is giving you the supremacy? So this is only when there is legitimacy functions, the legitimate authority or the legitimate power functions only when it is been accepted by mutually by the group of people. It is nothing but the whole state. The group of people is the whole state, where the whole state is saying that, yes, we require this government. We want only this government. So that power or the legitimacy is mutually accepted. It is through mutual consensus which the power is showered to that particular body of people here. Okay. So that body of people, the group of people are going to rule the whole society, take up the power and take up the dictations or the give decisions and policies, and the framework is going to start with that particular legitimacy. If there is no legitimacy, if there is no acceptance by the through mutual consensus, the legitimacy is not there, means there is no power over the people. People may not accept your power. Okay. Then the next aspect we try to discuss about what is called, we are going to discuss about state and society under capitalism and socialism. Yes, we all know what is capitalism. We all know what is socialism. But briefly to discuss about a society which will be under a capitalism. Capitalism, usually, I think many of you all know Karl Marx's aspect of understanding capitalism, or Max Weber's understanding of capitalism, or liberal thinking in a way where you give importance to capitalism. That means a state or a society giving importance to capitalism or which is under capitalism. Usually capitalism is something where you discuss about the private or the owners of production will be the owners of capital, owners of production will be a few group of people, and the mass people will be their subservience. Okay, I repeat once again. If a society or a state is under capitalism, what will be the situation of that particular system or a society? Usually to understand this, let us understand capitalism. Capitalism is where a system, it is an economic system. Capitalism maintains an economic system. So when you're talking about an economic system, or in general, when you're talking about capitalistic system, even in political aspect also, we can relate this capitalism or economic system also, because everything is interlinked here. Okay, just now I said elites. In the class on elites, power structure law, we talk about the elites. So elites usually take up the power. They are in the power. They are the authority people. Okay, so they rule over the whole state. Likewise, when you come down to capitalistic system, usually capitalism is supporting system, is an economic system where you find that only the owners of the production are there, and the owners of the production, owners of the capital will be only a few group of people. A few group of people, say for example, a small group holds all the economy. They own the capital, they own the production here. Okay, the means of production. Fine. So what happens when these people, a group of people, small section of the people holds the economic means of production? What happens is they take the services of the mass section. They take the services of the mass section, and these mass section of the people, the whole public will be the whole mass section. The population will be subservient of these owners of the means of production. And then there will be on one side the capitalist, the owners of the production, or the industrial people, or say the people who are in limelight, the people who are very rich, okay, who have a mass economic wealth, mass wealth, okay, very huge wealth they have. And there is another section where they're totally the have-nots. Okay, they don't have anything. They don't own any means of production. What they just own is only their labor, their own energies and the labors. So with their labors, they cannot sustain. So they have to just put their labor in the market. Okay. The market is open. The market is open where you can compete here. But we are unable to stand by with the competition of the means of production, which is owned by only few section of the community. Okay. Even when there is the state, the government will be, the government is also dictated by this few owners of the means of production. Why? Because they are the big, rich, fat people in the society. So they can control over each and every segment of the society. So when they have the control over each and every segment of the society, they are the people who enters into the politics, or at least they try to dictate the terms and conditions even for the big political leaders also. So that way, they have a big control over the whole society. So usually when there is a state or the society under the capitalistic system, the mass people, there is no scope there of entry into the politics. The mass section of the people have no scope to become rich people in the society. They have no scope to dictate the terms and conditions of the political system. There is no scope to intervene into the policy making, or to at least have an impact on the policy making also. So this is highly impossible if there is any state which is running under the capitalistic system. Fine, we can also take it in from the other way. There will be a very, what is called a spirit of competition which lies in the capitalistic system. Fine, you are given a space where you can compete with the bigger system in the society. You can compete in the economic market. You can compete in the political system also. But the access is not possibly given to the mass section. There is no access for these people. Why? Because they don't own any income. There is no good income for the people. There is no access to any owning of the means of production. Means of production itself dictates their sections and their class system in the society. I repeat once again, means of owners of the means of production. So when you have the means of production, when you become a owner of the means of production, definitely your class system varies. Okay. So you are dictating the terms until that means you are a very rich person. You own the means of the production. So you are a dominating personality. You own the hegemony. You will be a dominating person. You will be controlling the whole society. It is just because there is the means of production. There is the means of ownership to few sections of the community. So that will be the system under capitalistic society. So the large section will be have-not people. The large section will be the proletariats. The large section will be only the labor community, the working class. Other section you have, of course, the rich people, the owners of the production, the owners of the industrial owners. They are the very rich people. They are the also people who dictate terms and conditions for the big political leaders. They run the big political parties also. They can have a very great impact over the state and also the policies and the affairs of the state. Then at the same time, we come across socialism. How will be a state under socialistic pattern or a society when it runs under the socialism? Socialism is welfare for all. Okay, socialism means welfare for all. Usually we try to take up the ideologies of the communist parties. Okay, so Russia was once upon a time, it was a socialistic pattern, communistic society, socialistic pattern where they run the society. Even India adopts in constitution, we try to frame our preamble says, India is a democratic, socialistic, secular society and untown. Okay, so we have also the principles, we work on the principles of socialistic pattern. Of course, we also have on the side the democratic principles. But when you talk about a pure state, state purely running under the socialistic system, usually socialism discusses about, it talks about something, usually we try to say that where there is no private property, you are not giving importance to private property, but it is a public property. Everyone owns everything. I repeat once again. It is the community owning, it is the cooperative owning, and it is the people owning all the sources in the, all resources in the society. So you and me become the means of the owners of the means of production. So what happens is equitable distribution, equal opportunity will be provided. It is assured in the socialistic pattern of a society. So when a society runs under the socialistic principles, usually it goes in such a way that you have most of the time dominatingly only the public enterprises, the public ownership. Okay, so everyone will be given equal opportunity. So all are distributed equally amongst all the resources. Okay, so that means there may not be the rich and the poor, all are equal in the stratum of the society. This usually we try to take up as a part of welfare state, and also usually we try to feel that yes, all the people will be provided with the basic communities, the economic security, social security, all kind of security will be covered under when there is socialistic society. Ante it is something where you're talking about socialism, antene it is something where you're talking about welfare of the people. Welfare of the people anukunnappudu economic, social security and all kind of security has to be assured to the people. So this is what we usually try to discuss in the state and society. So for usually when you talk about all these concepts, I'm going very briefly here because we have to cover other topics also. Fine. Then again, we come across institutional autonomy, power and state control. What type of control we have? Is it only on a few aspects the state is controlling, the state has the control, or over a bigger, larger, the wider aspect, they have the control here? But usually every institution is being controlled by the state. The state has the power to control each and every aspect of the society. All the institutions. Intamundu cheppan kada, hegemony unte ఒక ఆధిపత్యం ఉండదు అనుకోండి. ఆధిపత్యం ఎవరి మీద? కేవలము ఆ స్టేట్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి మనుషుల మీద కాకుండా ఆధిపత్యం అనేది ఈవెన్ ఆన్ ది ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ దే షో దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ డామినేషన్. The institutions also work, they have to work under the state control. So there will be definitely a pressure on the institutions to take up the policies, to take up the framework only based on the government ideologies and all. Intamundu cheppa adhipatyam unnappudu only a few ideologies will be working, a group of ideologies will be working on the society, on the what is called the management of the affairs also have a great impact on this hegemony. So such kind of system we are experiencing in few countries, not all, almost not in the democratic system. Okay. But of course, in some way we can understand that yes, hegemony is always there, but practically we won't say that yes, that is the hegemonic system. So in some way we can understand, we can just perceive that yes, this is the hegemony. Okay. So mana state lone cheptunnappudu we can experience such kind of hegemony even in our own state, right? Yes. Then again we have ideology and consensus. So what is state control? First of all, state control and control over the resources, control over the land, control over the population, control over the institutions. Yes, definitely you can understand this practically very well, right? So don't the government have, yes, the government is also showing control over the land. It is either leasing, or it is either owning, or it is either selling, or it is distributing among the poor people, or it is giving the land to the industrial people, or giving the land to some kind of service motives and all. So all this is because which the state is owning, which the state has the control over. Not only this, but at the same time, there are few properties in the state. All these properties are also will be owning by the state itself. So when the state or the government is under one particular, one particular government is there, then the government has a full control over the properties of the state also. So such kind of system is always there. We usually practically experience more than the theoretical aspect. Okay. Then we try to discuss about ideology and consensus. What is this ideology and consensus? Say, for example, we have many parties in the state. Communist Party ideology వేరు ఉంటుంది, ఇంకా ఏమున్నాయి, BJP party ideology వేరు ఉంటుంది, Congress party ideology వేరు ఉంటుంది. So each and every one have their own principles, their own ideologies. But will there be any consensus with these all kind of ideologies? See, everyone have their own ideologies. We have a political setup here. The political setup of different parties will be arising here, and all the parties may not have the mutual consensus. So how the ideology will be mismatching, or how ideology will going with the consensus? Because at one particular point of time, they have to enter into the consensus. Otherwise, the state affairs may not go in a peaceful manner. So sometimes they will be raising the slogan, sometimes they will be opposing the state or the powers of the state. Fine, all this is quite very regularly we usually experience within our own political systems and the state system also. Okay, so this is what is about for the today's class. I just went with ABCD knowledge of giving all these concepts here. Okay, so we don't have that much time to discuss in very elaborate or in-depth manner here. So I hope you followed what I said in the class. So I think this application, we can take it to our own state application. You just try to apply this theory to the practicality. Okay, the state and the power, hegemony of the state or hegemony of a particular group. Okay, the control, social control over the state affairs, social control over the institutions, state control over the institutions, state control over the state control over the people of the state. Okay, the sovereignty, sovereign authority, the sovereignty, the supremacy over the people, supremacy, internal aspect in the supremacy legitimized kakapote, you don't accept, people never accept your power. Okay, so this is what usually we discuss in a political setup or in a sociological understanding of the political setup. Okay, I hope you all followed and my voice is audible. Hope so. Fine, we'll meet in the same time tomorrow also for the class. So probably tomorrow I will be discussing the next topic. So in between, I also again will be touching either first topic or the second topic. In between, I will be taking, we have a link with the first and the second topic when we continue with the third topic. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss the next topic called, I think it is the voting behavior. So very interesting topic we have for tomorrow class, voting behavior. So varieties, the political parties, ideology, voting behavior. So how the voting behavior also changes according to the situations. So what are the impacting factors on the voting behavior? Okay. So thank you all for today. So please be in class tomorrow for the next topic. Okay. Thank you all.